This podcast is sponsored by Relevant. It's a new iOS app to consolidate the media you want to see in a place you control. With Relevant, you stay up to date with things you're actually interested in. You tell Relevant what's relevant to you, and you'll be given all the content you love from all across the internet, all in one place. It's available on iOS devices and coming soon to Android. Be the first to know with Relevant.
What's up, everybody? It's the Poorly Edited Podcast live from WXLV, the X. We're here today with the usual suspects.
My name's Coffee Guy.
My name's Patrick. 1 year older.
Oh, congratulations.
Right. I forgot it was your birthday already again for the second time. Well, I forgot before and I forgot after, so I covered both my bases.
And during, I think.
And during as well.
2 birthdays in 1 year.
We got Josh Brennan on the camera. As always, he's so great. And we're joined with a special guest in the studio today as well.
My name's Lizzy Kates. Hi.
It's Lizzy Kates, who's very far away from the mic.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's it. And yeah, so it's a little. This script is.
Did we already run out of stuff to talk about?
Yeah, you know what? We'll see you next week. No.
Hey.
The script is just so much better looking this week. You've learned some new techniques of the printer.
All I did was try this time.
He just figured out how to print 2-sided pages, and it's the 20th episode.
Yeah, something like that.
We've been doing this for 20 weeks.
As old as I
It's
am.
longer than that because we have a little bit of a backlog. I think it's like 23 or something.
Right. It's
Dude,
been like,
I'm 20.
That's like half a year. Too long.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You're 20 now?
Yeah,
I thought
I'm
you
as old
turned
as the
17.
I've
podcast.
been doing this your whole life.
Yeah.
20 years. It's been a quick minute, guys. Thanks for sticking around.
I certainly hope not.
I would be very disappointed if this lasted that long. So I mean, I was gonna ask, do you guys have any creative stuff going on? But we were getting a little creative a few hours ago.
Yeah.
In the lab, we just made it's not finished yet, but we're working on a new track with the Ryan Flynn of Mungo fame, which you were just listening to his newest single, Sun
Magic.
before we went live.
Nothing to do with Pokemon.
Yeah, oddly enough, it really threw me for a loop. I thought he was collabing with Game Freak for his new album, but he said he has a new EP coming on the way. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, so that's to be expected.
We might be on it.
And we might be on it. Probably
What's the name
not.
of our song again? I forget.
Quantized Girl. And if that doesn't make sense to you, it shouldn't, and it probably won't even when you hear it. So, pretty good. But yeah.
We ran into Storm.
Oh yeah, we did run in a storm. Unfortunately,
Puts a lot of salt on his salad, we learned.
He put salt on his. Yeah, he put salt on it.
Yeah.
And I don't even think there was any meats that needed to be
The
salted.
bacon bits, which have enough
that needs
salt.
more
That's
salt.
not hell. He's not doing well. He has not been doing well since we've departed.
Looks like a corpse.
He's got that new haircut though that I
He
like.
does, yeah.
It's nice.
With the like, what is that called? Do you know? Do you know hair stuff?
I haven't seen Storm since his haircut.
You
I don't
haven't-
know what you're talking about.
He does like that line that
It's
like
where they have like the
He, like,
undercut
shaves that
and
line.
They shave like a line into it.
yeah.
I don't know what that's called.
I don't either.
You know what we're talking about, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Let
Well,
me
as long as we're all on the same
Let me-
page.
Let me ask my girlfriend, see if she gets back to me by the end.
Or you can just Google it with the
I'll
computer you
That's
have.
not fun.
All right. So how was your birthday, Pat?
It was fun. Just kind of hung out. Took the day off. I played some Warhammer and Times Vermintide 2.
Ooh.
Great game. I'm having fun. Went down to Philly, saw my brother.
Nice.
I would have liked to like go out to dinner with you or something. You know, the
Yeah.
whole gang.
Well, Pat doesn't
We
talk
still
to us.
can. I don't. The day of, you're like, why didn't you tell me it's your birthday? I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, I was not surprised that you're one of those people with birthdays.
Yeah.
Mine isn't even on my Facebook.
Yeah, that's weirder.
Yeah, I mean, so this is weird, but my sister was born the day before me, and my brothers are the born after. They're born the day after.
What?
Not like we're not like triplets. It's
No,
like
no.
years apart, but yeah.
That was really
Be
a
a
long
long labor,
labor. Yeah.
This,
All right, let's
the
calm down.
17th, 18th, and 19th of March.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like I don't know. It's like my birthday, but it's also not really my birthday because like I get exactly 24 hours and then it's over.
That's how days work.
Well, yeah, but
Oh, you mean like
it's
yeah, and then the next day it's like it's all about your brother.
cares,
and, yeah, okay, I feel you. That sucks. See, I'm an only child. I never had to share anything, including a birthday. So I had it pretty all right.
It's always your birthday.
That's true. Yeah, when you're an only child, it's
always your birthday.
Yeah.
Wonder what that's like.
Lonely. No, I'm just kidding. Oh. But you're not an only child either.
I have a half brother.
Yeah, I heard you had a
so-
brother.
You heard I had
Yeah,
a
I
brother?
heard about that.
Who told you?
Sam.
Oh.
I heard he has
Cool.
asthma.
Yeah, he does. Just
So I heard your brother has asthma. That's pretty cool.
yeah.
I was diagnosed with asthma as a kid.
Oh,
I guess there's a difference between kid asthma and adult asthma.
yeah, I
'Cause
had kid asthma too.
they just. I feel like kid asthma is they're like when your kid runs around, he's not fit and he gets tired and he can't breathe, and that's just like normal. I feel like that's not really asthma.
I had like bad bronchitis at one point.
Me
They gave me
too.
an inhaler for like 2 weeks.
Yes,
That
that's
was
how
it.
it
Did you
starts.
guys have the same childhood?
Yeah.
Bronchitis, asthma.
These are all the staples of childhood. Had a good one. What about you? Have you ever had bronchitis or asthma?
I've never had either of those.
Healthy lungs. Good.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of the lucky ones. I have smallpox. No, I'm just kidding.
What did Josh have last year?
What did Josh? Oh, yeah,
Polio.
He had polio.
Polio,
He was
right.
diagnosed with polio, and you guys said I had polio. The last
Yeah.
episode that just went up this last week, I wasn't on there because I was hospitalized at the time,
Yeah.
and you made a polio joke then as well. And I thought you weren't going to actually say anything about where I really was, and then it took
I
like
was-
20 minutes.
I was starved for material. That was
Yeah.
not my natural habitat.
No, you guys did great.
Wow.
You guys
I
did a
don't
really
believe
good
that.
Are
job.
you ever going to shut up about how good we did?
No.
Okay.
Well, yeah, very
Just feeling
soon. The
patronizing.
criticism's coming.
Yeah,
I just
good,
wanted to
good,
prelude
good.
it with positive comments first.
I'm nervous. Thanks. You're really building us up.
Yeah. Oh,
You take
yeah.
us way down. It's gonna be like Jenga.
Rock bottom, dude.
That's where I like to be.
Yeah.
Jenga?
Yeah.
Django? All right. How do you feel about
Unchained.
Django Unchained?
I haven't
That
actually
was a
seen it.
fantastic movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That
It was great.
Okay.
Yeah, it
I
was
haven't
great.
actually
I just
seen
wanted
it.
to hold you in
I
suspense
haven't
there.
seen a Quentin Tarantino movie since Inglourious Bastards.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a really good one, though.
That is.
You said that you stopped watching that film right before the very end.
No, that
Are
wasn't
you
me.
sure?
That wasn't me. I
Someone
love that
said that
movie.
to me, and I got really mad at
What,
them.
Django or Inglourious Bastards?
Oh yeah, Inglorious Bastards. Yeah.
No, dude.
I
it
thought you
was
meant Django.
No, that's the whole, the very end of
No,
Inglourious
I didn't
Bastards.
stop watching it. I just fell asleep because it was like 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that'll do it, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, it's
You-
rough because you started at like 2 and it's like, this is a
it's just on TV.
Who starts a movie at
No.
2? Like bedtime?
I know, right? It
Time
was
to
even
go.
on Netflix, so I chose to watch it
Oh,
at
that's
2
your
o'clock.
fault, 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we just watched Reservoir Dogs.
I love
a
that
few
movie.
days
That's a
ago.
great movie.
I had never seen it until
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And this
man.
whole time by accident, I had gone without seeing Reservoir Dogs. It wasn't like a conscious effort on my part, like to not watch it. I just somehow it had eluded me. But Steve Buscemi,
Yeah.
wish he
Mr.
was.
Pink.
Wish he starred in more movies, all the time.
After the 90s.
I wish he starred in movies that were like not good for him to star in, like in roles that didn't suit him, because I just want to see what that's like. You like Steve Buscemi playing like a Marvel character, like a Marvel superhero. Just like, what would that even?
As Thor? That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
just stuff like
Long
that.
blonde
Just,
The
hair.
skinniest kid.
or just take any role Tom Cruise is cast for, and then just replace him with Steve Buscemi.
Dude, at the beginning of Reservoir Dogs, he's running.
He's
He's going fast.
He's booking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like when I run too. And people are surprised that I'm like fast.
You look, yeah. Well, because
I look like I'm on stilts all the time.
body structure would elude that you should be a stronger runner, but or just any like swimming, whatever, maybe
Anything really.
anything physical. But in fact, it's like you're running on stilts. That's what it looks like.
You want to race?
I
could
sure.
beat you.
You can't beat me.
Yeah, but
Really?
once you
You
start
think?
skipping, it's all over. Right?
Yeah,
It's all over.
I've seen Pat skip before. We
It's
had a
not
little
good.
skip off, and it was terrifying. I think would be the adjective I'd use actually to describe it. You need to. Have you practiced at all since we last made fun of you?
No. I'm scarred. Why would I go back?
Oh,
I'm never gonna skip again. I'm
you can
swearing
rent
it
out like a
off.
practice room or something in some loft somewhere in the city, and just make instead of a dance studio, it's a skipping studio for you.
Oh,
Yeah, like in Silver Linings Playbook or something.
it sounds like a love movie. Or like someone would walk in and be like, "Oh no, you can't see me. Like I'm skipping."
What movie
Like, I
is
love
that
you for
already?
Who you are about skipping?
No, well, we're gonna shoot that one, but I mean like the one, a one involving dance instead. I feel like that's
Shrek.
you know what I'm talking about,
Step
Josh.
up.
Shrek.
Step Up sounds maybe right. Shrek, I think, is the one I was looking for.
Dirty
though.
Dancing.
Isn't it sort of like Silver Linings Playbook?
Shrek?
No.
Yeah.
The skipping idea.
Sure, it can be.
You know Bradley Cooper.
Except we're not Eagles fans. None of that.
That would be starring Steve.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
Are you on a
Steve.
first name basis
Yeah,
with Steve?
I'm on a baseball team with him actually.
We had him on the podcast.
Liam, Liam from last week. That was last week, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Liam from last week wrote a mock script of a movie trailer that is starring Steve Buscemi. Oddly enough,
Really?
that I just heard today. Yeah, him perform. It's called Steve and the Mac, and it's about Steve Buscemi going on a quest for the best mac and cheese or something.
That sounds like a
effect.
Liam idea.
That sounds
Yeah.
He's a
pretty good.
predictable man.
It's really good.
Whoa.
I'm sure there's the whole soundtrack. It's polka music as well.
Yeah.
I'd
Self-composed.
watch that.
Would you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I would actually. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I want it to be like James and the Giant Peach, except with Steve Buscemi.
Dude, James the Giant Peach.
Have you ever seen that film?
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is. That's the happiest I think I've ever seen Pat. Like when he's not
I
faking
think that was
it.
a great segue, but we're not even there yet, so we can't segue properly.
Is it a great segue? Did he make that movie?
Tim Burton made.
Yeah.
I
He
didn't
did.
know that. Oh no.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
let's just get right in.
Can we just start over?
Let's just go to
Pat,
Take
bring
it from the top.
Pat,
Take it from the top.
Bring it down.
Let me throw sun magic back on.
All right. Oh, I thought you were actually gonna do it. Cue it up, dude.
Do you want me to?
No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. We've heard that.
Why would
enough.
you say that to me?
I'm not a fan.
What?
Go check out Mungo on on Bandcamp.
No,
All right.
we love Ryan. We were having a good time.
were. It
We
was-
were working on a secret project.
It was really fun.
Sign non-disclosure agreements. The whole
Yeah.
nine.
Pat
I
couldn't
can't
even
talk much about it.
Pat couldn't even hear the song
That's-
most of the
yeah.
time, and he was still like, "I like it."
Yeah.
He was just looking at like the MIDI
The bars. I'm like,
notes
this
and the
makes
bars.
sense.
He's looking at it like it's an equation. It's like I get it.
I love the way Ryan works.
I love it. Yeah, he's really funny. Like I was really concerned going into it because I had never really. I've only worked on a. He obviously, for anyone who's listened to him and he's been on the show, but when he does his solo stuff, he's like really electronic based. So it's a lot of synths, a lot of MIDI and stuff. And I was like, I don't really know how that's going to be because I told him a few weeks back when Sun Magic came out, he thought I was going to forget what it's called. When Sun Magic came out, I was like, we should collab on a track, dude. Like that'd be sick. And he's like, yeah, for sure. I thought he would say no, obviously, because why would anyone want to work on something like
He's
that?
in
with me?
Tavertine.
Yeah, he's a busy
level.
guy, and he set aside some time, and we were mixing in the studio, or in the lab, and then you guys showed up, and you just like
We were there before.
can't, well, yeah, we all went to lunch together, but
All right.
and then we just laid literal fire down on GarageBand, honestly, and there's even vocals. Pat comes on the vocals, which is insane.
great.
I was not expecting it all.
Went about as well as you'd imagine.
Yeah, exactly as well as you.
Coming in with that baritone kind of.
Am I actually baritone?
I don't. Well, your voice is very
I think
low.
you look for monotone.
Oh no. But yeah. So, Lizzy, how was your weekend? How's it been?
It's pretty good.
What were you doing all week?
Not much. I can't even remember.
Good.
Yeah.
Lots of good.
How was
weekend.
your track with Mungo? That go well?
Yeah. How was your?
I'm not
session?
lucky enough to get one of those.
Oof. Well, we can maybe see what we can do. We are kind of good friends with him.
Ryan's a busy guy.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe you should go to one of his shows, Chandler.
Hey, I tried. I forget why I couldn't even go then. Oh, I remember.
It was
now.
an actual
It was
reason,
yeah.
yeah.
It was I got the seal of approval of like good, wholehearted excuse of missing that show from Pat. that night. I like told you after when I saw you later that night.
That's the reason you told me. I don't know if
No,
that's
it is
why.
true. That hey, that's true for all you know. And Pat was like, yeah, oh no, that's totally understandable. So if because Pat's one of the most genuine, pure, kind-hearted people I know, aside from like Joshy B, or even Isaac Zimmerman. I mean, you're kind of up there with them.
Am I?
Yeah,
I think we should
The
fight.
Three Musketeers, as
the
it
three
were.
musketeers of just purity and good injustice. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
You're actually right.
What a trifecta.
What a
Josh is very upset at all these
I wish I
adjectives
could
being
see
thrown at him.
Joshy B's face.
He's he's laughing so hard.
Josh, you want to get matching costumes? Maybe like we can get a ring and each one has like a third of some emblem and we can match it up. Yeah.
You can be blue, I can be green.
He got real excited about
He
that.
did.
idea.
What's Isaac? Pink or
Are we filming it?
Isaac's pink.
Well, that's going to be shooting later
No, this
this
is a
month.
vigilante group. You're not supposed to film.
No, see, that's wrong because vigilanteism is illegal.
Yeah,
so
but you
that'd be
can't
going
film
against
us.
your values.
But we're doing good things.
No, going around and
That's what they all say.
going around and doing good deeds isn't
Yeah, no,
vigilanteism.
we're gonna walk old ladies across the street. We're just gonna be in weird costumes doing it.
That's pretty cool. What's that new movie that came out with Bruce Willis where he's a vigilante?
Pacific Rim.
That's right. Yeah, and John Boyega's in that too.
Death Wish, I think.
Yes, that is what it's called. Yes, which I found out is a reboot.
Yeah,
Which I didn't know.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I think someone big was in the first one too.
Yes, but I forget. I think it's Steve Buscemi actually starred in the original. But who is it?
Was that a joke?
No, he was actually.
Charles Bronson.
How did I forget? Yeah, Charles Bronson was in
How
the
do you
movie.
forget Charlie B?
How could I forget? Never just gonna do that. Is that a thing? Yeah, I don't know, but I haven't even seen that film, and I don't want to because it kind of looks like schlock. Have you seen it? Oh, you just perked up. I thought you seen it. You have seen it? That's not your
Have you
style.
seen Charles Bronson?
Have you ever met Charles Bronson? All right.
Oh no way, he has.
Well, that's
Yeah, we're going to break.
as good of an outcome as we could have hoped for. So we'll see in the next segment where we'll talk more to Lizzy and probably talk about movies and all that.
Maybe.
Or she'll leave right after as soon as we go to break.
Zach's already gone. We'll be
Zach's
right
already
back.
leaving. All right. And so then I said Zamboni. Oh man.
Why did we just do that?
So we're back.
If I'd known that was your idea, I wouldn't have gone in with it.
You're a part of it now. So so Lizzy, we want to get to know the real you.
Oh, the real
Yeah.
me.
Were you talking
We
to
don't
the
know what's been
mic?
up front.
So my first question: why don't you talk into the mic? No, I'm just kidding. So you're in. What exactly? You used to go here.
Yes.
You're a graduate.
yes.
Is that
Don't answer
true?
that.
You're an
That is
alumni.
true.
And how's it been since you graduated? Like, what's the grad? Because I don't know if we've had many people on here who are alumni of the college. So I mean, that's interesting. What is graduating from here like, and like after the life after?
Well, I was kind of scared at first because I didn't have anything lined up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found this internship that I'm in like pretty fast after I graduated, which was nice.
Well, that's really lucky, actually.
Yeah.
Were there any like was there any tools from LCCC that helped you like get that internship or like have the know-how to secure something like that, you know, after you got out?
Kind of, because you're always taught to network with people. And I followed some production companies and I don't know, stuff like that. And then I would find jobs or whatever.
So did you find out about it just from following like the production company that you're currently with?
Yes, I followed. He has 2 restaurants, and I followed both of them. And he said that he was looking for interns for video editors and marketing people and content makers. So I applied through Instagram.
That's actually really crazy. I didn't know
The
that.
future is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly. Like,
So, what
Go
kind
on.
of videos are you making?
It's kind of like a BuzzFeed type thing where we just make like 1-minute videos about like top 10 like Broadway shows or something like that. Or
What's number 1 Broadway show?
The number
I
one
didn't
Broadway.
make that one personally.
What was the number one? It was Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, Phantom of the
I hated that list, by the way. I did not agree. I was just talking. That's why you said that,
Yeah.
because I was just making fun of it before we came here. Because it was like Cats and The Lion King and Wicked and Chicago and Rent, which I like Rent, but like it was just a bunch. It was like and Les Mis. It was just too mainstream, you know. It was just a little too. I don't know. Maybe I'm a snob.
You are, for sure.
Okay. Well, now that we know.
Well, there's like 10 of us, and we all make 1-minute videos.
You each pick
per
one?
week. Yeah, like we pick topics
I
that we
meant,
want
like,
to do.
Top 10, you each get one.
Oh no.
Oh, that would be a horrible
That would be
process.
horrible.
And I made some like 5-minute videos with them in the office that they have, which is cool too. And they're like they just get people drunk, like really drunk, and have them do weird stuff.
That's a really
That
good
sounds like-
idea,
yeah.
actually, for content.
It is.
Oh, well, you mean because the restaurants are like also bars, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, so that's just, I mean, that's like two birds with one stone at that point. You have all the material you need right there. So I don't even, what is the name of the place that you're with right now?
The production company or the restaurant?
Both.
Well, the production company is Now That's Gold. And on Facebook, it's Now That's Gold. And on Instagram, it's Now That's Gold News. So if you guys want to check it out, you can.
Well, let's not get crazy. What's the restaurants?
It's called Beetlejuice NYC and Beetlejuice LA, which are obviously in LA and NYC.
Oh.
Why is it called the Beetle House?
Because it's Tim Burton themed.
Oh.
Nothing to do with Ringo Starr.
That's not funny. Thank you so much.
Classic.
So does he have any more like themed places that he does, or?
The first one that he opened was a Will Ferrell themed bar, it was a pop-up bar. Yeah, so they just had a bunch of like posters of Will Ferrell up, and yeah.
That's really weird. Why didn't you do that? Like,
I don't know, but
how did
it
this come
worked
to
out.
be?
It worked out really well. It got a lot of publicity, and it like got a lot of business, which is cool.
I think one day he's just like, man, I got all these Will Ferrell posters. What do I do?
Yeah.
A question we all ask ourselves eventually.
Like,
That's that's really innovative. There's a Ron Burgundy Anchorman poster in the TV film studio that I always felt was a little out of place.
isn't that up there with like, isn't Reservoir Dogs up there too?
It is.
And,
Yes.
like
There's-
Matrix.
Yeah, there's also a new edition for anyone who's caught. Josh just rolled his eyes. There's also a new edition that just got added that I don't think anyone's really seen yet. It's kind of an Easter egg hidden in the control room. That door is usually always ajar, but if you close it when you're inside, from the inside, you're greeted by a huge picture that takes up the entire width of the door of Steven Seagal's face. And I mean just Steven Seagal's face. It was a movie poster that was larger, but someone just ripped the bottom of it off. That was the rest of the movie. So it's just Steven Seagal's huge face.
Josh is dying.
And it's so funny.
You know what's really weird? I had
What?
like a 40-minute conversation yesterday about Steven Seagal.
Ooh, and now
Was
we're
that
in the
with Mason?
Twilight Zone.
What?
Was
Is
it
that
with
with
Mason?
Mason?
No, that was with my friends online. I was
Ooh.
telling them the ballad of Steven Seagal and how he got, I don't know, he tried to maintain his exact same career when he was in his like 30s as now when he's in his like 60s, and it doesn't work because he's older and sadder.
Steven Seagal releases so many B movies.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. He's probably look up how many movies like Steven Seagal's released in the past, like I don't know, like this year, like a few years, because it's just a staggering amount of bad. They never do well.
No.
Like like they're usually like straight to DVD. And he's every time it's just the same generic like trying to be an action star thing, and it's not working, dude.
I love it.
It's so
No, it makes
it's
me
kind of
happy.
sad. No, it's opposite for me. It makes me sad. He was actually at one point, I believe, I don't remember where exactly, but he at one point became some trainer for law enforcement in some place. And that's not okay.
I think he was like, yeah, and then you just walk up and take their guns because they don't shoot. And I was like,
Right.
no, Steven, that was on a set. It doesn't apply.
They all
to
have
real
blanks
life.
in them, so you'll be fine if they shoot at you. And it's like, Steven, It's not, how many? What's going on? It's not a very comprehensive list that you're on.
Wait, what do you?
You have to go to IMDb.
Yeah, go on IMDb.
Like, look at 2016. No, go back. That's not normal. Look, 2016, he released, these are the names of these films. Code of Honor, Sniper, Special Ops, The Asian Connection, that sounds awful, Cartels, End of a Gun, Contract to Kill, and The Perfect Weapon, in which he was the director for. So that, like,
7 movies.
7 movies in a year.
You know what's weird?
All of them are bad. What?
He's at 56 total.
He's what?
He's at 56 total. You know what that means?
What?
Like a ninth of the movies made. That's probably wrong. But like a ninth of his movies were made in 2016.
That was a good number crunch, Pat. That's why you're the numbers guy.
I'm sure that's wrong.
It's more
Let's
right than
try
I
some
would have been.
Josh, get this on camera.
Abdul, can I get a number crunch?
8. I was close.
Is it 8? An eighth?
Yeah. Oh my God. How did I not get that?
Well, I'm not
I'm
surprised.
quitting. See you guys.
So, like, you're getting back to Lizzy.
How's a Steven Seagal themed restaurant?
Can he do that? Does he own the rights to Steven Seagal?
I don't think so.
How does that work?
Does Steven Seagal own the rights to Steven Seagal?
Nobody does. What else does? Because I know you've mentioned he's a pretty diverse individual. Your boss, the guy that has founded all these things. What other kind of stuff does he do?
He's a chef, or he used to be a chef. And he was on that show with Guy Fieri where you have to go like through the grocery store and like pick out what you're gonna make.
Guys, grocery games?
Sure.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Did you just make that up?
It's possible.
I watch it every day that it aired.
I think it is named
It's gotta be
something
the
like
name.
that.
Yep, Guys, grocery games.
There we go.
Nice.
6.1 on IMDb.
Well, I don't listen to IMDb ratings. It's all about that Rotten Tomatoes. But and so he's a chef with Guy Fieri. He's Guy Fieri's personal chef. And what else?
He used to be in a band, and he was on Warped Tour for a little bit.
He was Warped Tour,
Yes,
or he was in Warped Tour?
He was in Warped
He's done it all.
What kind of? Well, never mind. I was gonna ask what kind of music you played, but Warped Tour is pretty one trick.
What is Warped Tour then?
When is Warped Tour?
No, what music?
Oh,
is
Warped Tour is. Do you actually not know?
No.
Oh,
honestly.
it's like a
Wait,
big.
what? That's like right up your
weird.
alley.
Yeah, it's
Is it?
weird.
It's just all alternative trash.
Well,
It's a joke. It's a joke.
It's usually on the heavier side.
Yeah.
So like a lot of screamo, a lot of
right up-
emo,
okay.
punk. What?
What?
So it's not right up your alley because all you listen
Sponsored
to.
by Vans, if that gives you
I know
a
that.
hint.
True.
I've heard. Yeah, I've
It's
heard
actually-
that a million times. I never knew what it was.
It's the last year this year, which is why it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because it's going away after this. I don't know. I think it's in the summer,
I
right?
think so, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Josh, do you know? Do you hit Warped every year, dude? Do you?
He's a big fan.
all good.
Josh is tuned out like the rest of you.
Josh
so.
loves Warped Tour. Josh doesn't listen during the whole show. He just kind of stands there and lets his eyes glaze over while he thinks about what better places to be. And that's every week for him, just wasting this hour.
Great minds think alike, buddy.
That's
I know.
Oh, so you got an internship from messaging a company on Instagram. Would you recommend that as a strategy? Is this the new cold calling?
Well, I didn't message them on Instagram. They had their email. They told me to email them. So
Oh, that's way different.
yeah, but I found it on Instagram.
I was like, yo, dog, I like Tim Burton too, and hit me up.
You're
Yeah.
hired.
Yeah, hired.
So how has it been? Like, do you enjoy it? Is it interesting to be, because you just graduated this, not even for a full year you've been graduating, you already are essentially working in your field.
Yeah.
Which I don't think most I'm a film major. I can only hope that that's going to be the case after I never graduate from here,
I'm pretty
because I'll
sure
get held back.
Don't you work in like a couple homeless years in there?
Yeah. You go backpacking in Europe for a good year or so, and then you find yourself, and then you come back, and hopefully something happens good, and then
You wrap cable for 10 years and eventually get a gig.
and then you wrap cable for 10 years, and then you give up on your dreams when it doesn't happen. You settle down and have a family, and
And you wrap cable for like 35 more
another
years.
35 more years, or just become a cable installer, like whatever, or work at some desk job, and
It's getting real depressing.
well, that's what's ahead of me. So that's my plan. But yeah, so I mean, has that been like cool? Is it enjoyable? Is it nerve-wracking? Like,
It's been pretty cool. I enjoy it a lot. And we're always busy like with stuff we have to do, so it's not that boring.
do you like the content they produce? You can say it.
I do actually.
I do too, actually. I have to say some of it's pretty good. I mean, only
the Broadway list, which was
the Broadway list
total
is
blasphemous.
not okay with that one bit. But I think didn't you just come out with something that they just posted recently?
I'm not
The
sure
spring
what.
break.
Oh
thing?
yeah, the spring
Yeah,
break one
that
I
was
think
pretty
was
good.
the latest. How Not to Propose was the
Oh, that was the most recent
the
one.
most recent one I think.
Yeah, all your videos are obviously good. I don't know about it. I'm always like, I was really hesitant to say anything bad about the Broadway one because I wasn't sure if you made it. So that's why so I asked first. I was like, who did this? And then when you're like, I don't know, I was like, okay.
But
now
the way
it's
you
time.
asked, I knew you didn't like it. You're just like, who
Already?
did this?
Oh.
It's awful.
You think
Well.
you're just watching and like, man, I hate cats.
Cats is not great.
Looks creepy. I've never
It-
seen it. I've just seen screenshots of the cats and they look terrifying.
I think it's hilarious.
It's just Romeo and Juliet,
So the cats.
but everyone's
Yeah.
dressed as a cat.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Key.
It's kind of not that crazy. But yeah, so a lot of Tim Burton theme stuff going on there, obviously.
Yeah.
And you just released a video or recently Tim Burton themed. So is that like, was that a hard, what?
We're gonna go to a break quick. We'll
Oh,
come back
really?
to Tim Burton.
You couldn't have told me that 4 seconds ago.
No, this is funnier.
You're fired, Pat.
All right, sounds good.
This is funnier.
We'll be back. And Zach said he wouldn't do it because it's not funny.
Funny how that works.
You
Huh?
almost made me do a spit take. I wasn't ready for that.
Dang it.
Oh, well, no, I would have ruined equipment, Pat. That's not
Not
funny. No, it isn't. It's dangerous. Anyway, so that's funny. I hate when you guys write the script because you do stuff like that.
That is
so,
fun. Nice job, Zach.
So you, as I was saying, you got the internship. A lot of Tim Burton themed stuff going on. Was that an easy adjustment for you? Were you like a fan? Were you stop laughing at
What?
me?
What's his problem?
Yeah, what's going
What's
on?
he doing?
You're fired.
Was it hard to adjust to Tim Burton?
Well, because I don't know, because some people might not enjoy Tim Burton as much. So if you go into a place and you're like, listen, Tim Burton, huge pillar of our business, and you're like, I'm not very familiar with his work, nor do I enjoy it, then that'd probably be difficult
All your
for you.
resumes like, no Tim Burton.
Not a fan. There's limited space on a resume. You're using it wisely to disclose your distaste. In
I didn't
Tim
see any
Burton.
of that Tim Burton buzzword, so they're in the trash pile.
That's how we decide. It's actually how you guys got here. It's because you said you didn't like Tim Burton. So do you, do you enjoy it? Was it kind of like neutral for you, or are you a huge Tim Burton fan previously, so it's an easy fit for you to like make content and jive with?
I was a pretty big Tim Burton fan. I have a Beetlejuice tattoo, so
That was a dead giveaway to that
Yes.
question.
In
That makes
retrospect, it makes
yeah. So look at her tattoo, everyone. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
everybody tune in.
Everyone listen really close so you can hear it.
Hold it up to the mic.
yes, right here. Can you see it?
Good job. And so, what's your favorite Tim Burton work?
Beetlejuice.
You know what? This, in hindsight, is writing itself. I don't think.
I like Sweeney
I didn't
Todd a
know.
lot too.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like Sweeney Todd too much.
the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Yes, the
Yes.
very same. Probably because it's a lot of, I should say all the theater people I know don't really enjoy Sweeney Todd because they're like really snobby. So they're like, a film adaptation of that play is that is bad. But Tim Burton did a really good job trying to keep the essence of the play alive for the film adaptation. So the way it's shot is very not in a bad way, like early film kind of like they didn't understand how to make it not look like a play bad, but stylistically keeping it so that it retains that personality of a play, you know, so it wasn't too far of a cry from it. And I just love musicals, and that's one of the only that's one of the few, I should say, musicals that Tim Burton's done. I'm a huge fan of Nightmare Before Christmas personally.
The Corpse Bride is kind of a musical.
It's
too.
kind of a musical.
Yeah.
Aren't there only like 3 songs, maybe? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I haven't seen that movie in a real. I've seen that movie maybe twice, but when I was really young, I
still
need to watch it more.
I saw it in theaters and then I haven't seen it since.
I also saw it in theaters. You haven't seen it at all.
No.
That's insane. What's going? Because you strike me as a huge. You'd be a Tim Burton fan.
I mean, I feel like I strike myself as that too, but I don't watch a lot of his stuff.
Okay, well that's usually not synonymous with. All right.
No, it does seem like something I would like though. Like
The Corpse Bride.
no, like the animation and stuff and like how
Oh.
it looks really cool.
Have you seen Nightmare Before Christmas?
I've seen like half of it.
What's going on right now? Can we get a number
you
crunch
got my
on that?
application, right?
Okay.
I don't work with Tim Burton.
So this is weird. I think we just have to leave right now and have Pat go watch these movies because I don't know how you've gotten this far. So I think we're gonna have to cut this short. No, I think the most recent Tim Burton movie I watched was actually Ed Wood, which is a very old, and that was.
Is that with Johnny Depp?
It is
well,
with Johnny
that's
Depp.
not narrowing down Tim Burton films.
That's
but-
not at all. It was one of the first films they did together, though, I do believe. If someone wants to get me a number crunch on that and tell me if I'm right, I don't know. But, oh, look, it's your tattoo almost. Is that where you got it from?
My tattoo is there. There it is. That's mine with the quarter on it.
Oh, I see it. They're right there.
Yeah.
So for all the audio listeners, Zach is looking
I got
up
it shaded a
the
little differently,
tattoos
and I got the words underneath.
and he
What am I
found
crunching
hers.
numbers of? Ed Wood?
The movie Ed Wood and whatever. It came out like a long time ago. It's in black and white. It's not that old. It's just for style.
1934.
1930.
1994.
Okay. And yeah, so Johnny Depp's pretty young in that, and it's about an actual filmmaker named Ed Wood who existed in Hollywood at one point and made very weird monster films that were all very like B-movie, but he has a very special place in filmmaking, I would say, and was the inspiration for a lot of people in the future that grew up watching really weird stuff like that. But anyway, Ed Wood, very good movie. I highly recommend. Because it was one of the first times that like Tim Burton and Johnny Depp worked together, and it's, in my opinion, there's a certain point with Tim Burton movies that I don't like some of them, and I feel like nowadays Tim Burton's gotten to a point where he's kind of too much of himself. Like he's too deep in Tim Burton, and he can't like come out. So like the new Alice in Wonderland stuff, too much. It's way too much. Like dial it back on the Tim Burton levels a little bit and it'd probably be okay. And even Johnny Depp, like his recent roles are just kind of like, it gets weird after a while and you're kind of like, okay, I get it. Like Johnny Depp, Tim Burton, I get it. Like I've seen
It's
it.
a shame because he's a good actor.
He is. Yes.
He's really good in Blow.
I love that movie.
And I forget. Oh, I hit the mic. Really good. I've never stormed that hard before. That's crazy. There's like this trilogy he's in. It's like a Western sort of thing, but it's not
Pirates of the
actually-
Caribbean.
I gotta crunch some numbers.
I'm trying to think of what you're talking about because I can't remember. Johnny Depp movie. That was the Google inquiry. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory I didn't like, and I think Tim Burton did that as well. Not a huge fan of that.
I like the old one better.
Yeah, of
but
course, 100%.
I like the new one too.
Do you know there's a subreddit dedicated to Grandpa Joe hate? Because he just sits in his bed all day, and then as soon as he get the golden ticket, he can like go somewhere. He's like, "I'm fine, let's go."
I just watched the old one. And I thought that exact same thing.
It's like, well, I guess.
I like how they have to like spin him, and he's like straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Wait, scroll up.
There you go.
There it is.
Josh.
Uh,
Bye, Josh.
Oh, Josh has to depart. Goodbye.
Thank you so much.
He was in. Johnny Depp was also in. Oh, What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
That's a great movie. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo DiCaprio's
What's
in that.
the-
also
like-
did great.
An animal or something?
Yep, that's what it's about,
You haven't seen that movie either?
dude.
It's a classic.
Dude, you just saw
We have to
Reservoir
go to a
Dogs.
school for. Yeah, okay, maybe, but it's like that's a lot less mainstream. I would say. You throw a stone and you'll hit somebody that's seen all those films, all the Tim Burton films. But anyway, don't like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I don't like the new Alice in Wonderland stuff, and I don't like Frankenweenie, and I did like there. It's like
Did
a lot
you
of,
even see
I
Frankenweenie?
saw enough.
You gotta wait till the end. good at the end.
Have you ever seen Pet Sematary?
No, I have.
Here we
Dude,
go.
I forgot. I was gonna bring Stephen King in this episode anyway. For my birthday, I got the graphic novel adaptation of The Dark Tower, the first book.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Only the first book?
Yeah.
Good luck.
I got one book.
Did you like the movie?
No, the movie was terrible.
Okay. That's what I
Everyone
heard. I
agrees.
haven't read the book, but I saw the movie.
Everyone agrees that it's terrible, even the people that haven't read the books. Did you like it?
I thought it was okay.
The movie?
I like the story. Yeah.
Excuse
I
me.
mean, yeah. The Dark Tower is really hard to make movie adaptations of because it's like 7 books and like thousands.
Yeah,
of
not a good
pages and,
idea.
like, really, I don't know. It's like huge landscapes the entire time too. It'd be really hard to capture.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, they did Harry Potter, so they could probably manage it, but I feel like not the same. I don't know.
Do you have a favorite Tim Burton film?
I don't know. I like Beetlejuice.
Okay.
I like Corpse Bride. I haven't seen a huge variety though. I've only seen a handful. So
A variety. I can't really think of like a lot of crazy. You usually know. It's like the one. It's hard.
Edward
for them to-
Scissorhands.
Edward Scissorhands
haven't
is a
seen
big
that.
one.
That's a good one.
Really? It's weird.
why? Was that
I
weird?
don't know. It's just weird because there's just certain movies that I just assume everyone's seen, and the Tim Burton films are like very prevalent of movies that I assume everyone's seen because they're just so. They're so his early stuff, which I love, they're so unique. Like I legitimately don't think I can compare his style to many other things that I've seen. You know, it's like you've either seen these films or you've seen his work, and then you get it or you don't. You know, because you can't really explain it in another way. Although, you know, you can criticize him for being too overly. I think the way Kevin Smith, which I'll get to in a bit, the way Kevin Smith describes him is a very fingerless gloves artsy type, which is a kind of negative connotation to, you know, an artist. You know, there's a point where you get too pretentious, and I feel like Tim Burton's kind of potentially
Fingerless
arrived
gloves
there.
is that line.
Huh?
You don't cross the fingerless gloves line.
Right. Yeah, that's when you
You're
know.
pretentious.
Because I think he actually does wear fingerless gloves, so that's not good.
I have a friend who wears fingerless gloves.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Is he pretentious?
It's, Dora.
Oh.
Oh, that's
honest.
right.
She.
Yeah. that's
She is
right.
an artist.
She's an artist.
She's close.
I like her. She seems cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
Well, there's more than meets the eye, Zach. Be careful.
Yeah.
She's in our photography class and she sleeps
The entire time?
every day.
Sounds like, yeah.
Boring class. So.
Well, can't say that. No, I'm just kidding. No, it is boring. It is
Cancelled.
So, do you think that there's? Do you watch a lot of animated films?
I do.
Do you think that there's kind of a lack of diversity in animated films? Because I think when I think of animated films, it's kind of like all of them run together primarily, but then you think of Tim Burton animated films, and they're almost in an entirely different league. You know, like I forget so often that Nightmare Before Christmas is even a Disney movie because it's just so drastically different from like anything else that you find there. You know.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean by
like,
diversity?
do you think that like animated films now have kind of arrived at this point of like computer animation and stuff that's all like they're all just pretty much the same, like stylistically and aesthetically and
Yeah, I
and all that?
guess because you can tell that a Tim Burton film is a Tim Burton animated film, but everyone else kind of runs together. You don't know if it's Disney or like DreamWorks or something like that.
Right, like they lack that personality.
I guess Wes Anderson now has his own sort of animated style with the like this sort of off stop animation. It's not full stop animation, but yeah.
Yeah, I really like that.
Fantastic Mr. Fox, and he's doing a new one with dogs
Isle
or
of
something.
Dogs.
I love Dog. Brian Cranston's in that.
There's a lot of people in that actually doing voices.
I
Bill
liked
Murray.
Fantastic Mr. Fox a lot.
Mm,
I don't know if you're into.
I haven't seen
No.
it.
Okay. Have you seen any of his stuff before? Like
I've seen it,
movies
like
I can't remember.
yeah, I've seen movies like live action films he's done.
Okay.
I think, but yeah, no, I'm really excited for Isle of Dogs. I definitely want to go see that when it comes out. Fantastic Mr. Fox flew under my radar accidentally. I was really excited for it, and it's just timing of like going to get to the movies. It just doesn't always work, and I haven't gotten around to watching it since it's come out. But
Years ago.
Years ago. Yeah, it's been years and I've never had a moment to spare. No, it's just I have such a long laundry list of movies I need to watch.
Shopping list?
It is.
Laundry list?
No,
That's a saying.
That's a saying.
Is
How about
it?
you stop stepping on my toes,
Okay,
Zach?
fine, take it over.
You want to know something fun?
Go on.
We were in class. We were at the computer lab, and Lamont was watching Boss Baby.
And then
Yeah.
Yes.
Pat was like, why?
Why?
I know, that's what I said. I
Yeah.
came in and I said, that's a bad movie, Lamont. And then he was like, you didn't have a childhood? And I was like, that movie came out 3 years ago, Lamont.
No, it
You were
didn't.
30 years old.
It came out last year.
Yeah, you're right. It did come out last year. It
it's even
feels like it was
worse.
even longer ago. But yeah, I like Alec Baldwin, but it's
Yeah.
the same kind of syndrome of like, they're all the same.
I just thought of like the Wallace and Gromit movie.
Yeah,
Cartoons,
Wallace and
those are
Gromit, those
different.
are cool. The
Those are-
claymation,
Yeah.
that's claymation, which is
Oh,
really cool.
yeah.
And that's also stop motion. I love well, we were just watching Robot Chicken last night.
Yeah.
I love stop motion so much. Like, that's so fascinating to me. I used to record when I first got a camera, when I was really young, I recorded stop motion
Legos.
videos no.
Oh.
But like,
I
I don't know. There was a lot, and I like followed a bunch of YouTube pages of like stop motion YouTubers and stuff like that because I was just so fascinated by the process and the amount of care and precision and patience that it takes and stuff. And I would watch, like I had Robot Chicken on DVD and I would watch all the special features and like watch how it was done and stuff. And it was just like so crazy. Like those films, the stop motion films that are feature length with all that production, it take just so many man hours. It's incredible that's why Robot Chicken is a 15-minute show that airs in weird blocks on Cartoon Network and Adult Swim because it's like it takes forever to make. Like 15 minutes is like 300 hours, just to make that much of a show. So it's like
I think the ones that are shorter are funnier. Like the ones that only last like 5 seconds.
the bumps like
Yeah.
during the episodes. Yeah, those are really funny. Like the really quick jab jokes. I don't know. They're really that's Seth Green and Matthew Senreich. I don't know if you know Seth Green.
I know Seth Green.
Okay. He's really cool. He's a really cool dude. And most people don't even know. It's such like a cult thing that has such a cult following. Most people don't know Seth Green has had his own show for the last like 12 years. I don't even know how long. It's been going on for a long time. I think it's in its 8th season. So that doesn't make any sense what I just said, 12 years. But it might have gone off air for like a duration and come back, whatever. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Seth Green. He was the voice of Chris from Family Guy.
Joker.
Really?
Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, Joker from Matt. Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just assumed you would
I was
go
like
right
Batman, like what?
Mark Hamill.
But yeah, no, I love Mass Effect, dude, and he's so great.
We don't have time for Mass Effect talk.
All right, well,
I feel like we've been slowly getting to a Mass Effect talk.
it's
with
just
this
building.
podcast.
It's building so much because Tim Burton directed Mass Effect.
Right, yeah. Great movie. Great
Just
film.
kidding.
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm gonna go to
Good.
a break.
Good.
I didn't want to talk anyway.
Yeah.
We'll see you in a bit.
Actually, no, I can stay on for a little bit.
What do you mean?
I'm kidding. We'll be back.
Oh.
Controls my life.
I'll be right back.
Oh, I thought you were going to. Okay, well, we're back. This is for the podcast. Pat just faked me out really hard because he said he would
I
take
thought you were
this
gonna do
one.
the thing. No, I said you should do it.
And then I said, Pat, we're about to end the break, so get near the mic because we're going to go on in a second. And then you made me look like a fool. So anyway, where we last left off, we were talking about Tim Burton. And I had mentioned Kevin Smith also. I watched a lot of Kevin Smith stuff. Kevin Smith is a filmmaker as well, of less renown, I would say. I mean, once again, he has a bit of a cult following. Not a bit. He has a lot of a cult following. Did Jay and Silent Bob and all that. And he does this thing where he goes on tour and he just talks like to huge auditoriums filled with people at colleges and all kinds of places. And he's just a really good speaker. He's entertaining. It's not like a stand-up routine as much as it just is. I don't know. It's like you have to watch it. I highly recommend it if you're interested in film or anything like that, especially because he his beginnings were so indie and stuff like that. You know, he funded his own film that got him a production company deal, which was Mallrats and stuff, and maxed out all of his credit cards and all that. So it's really interesting stuff to listen to him talk about, you know, being in the industry, because he had a very interesting up and coming, you know, experience. But at one point, Kevin Smith was supposed to work on actually a Superman film, which sounds weird.
What was it called again? It had a weird name.
It's called Superman Lives.
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith was...
What else is he going to do? Invincible.
What if Superman dies? Well, actually, for those of you who know the DC universe, he does die. And that was Death of Superman. And the production company, I think it was Warner Brothers, wanted to make kind of a theatrical film based on the Death of Superman comic storyline. And so Kevin Smith ends up being the screenwriter for that. Tim Burton ends up being the director for it. And then Nic Cage is playing Superman.
Look up the picture of
Please.
Nic Cage in the Superman garb.
It's terrifying.
I don't really know what to say about it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't believe this is a real thing that was happening, I highly urge you after the show to research it yourself and at least look at these pictures, because they do have released pictures of Nicolas Cage doing test footage, wearing the Superman costume and doing some takes and stuff like that. And there was a documentary done about this whole thing, this movie and the development process that went into this film that was unfortunately had never seen the light of day or finished, called I forget what it's called. What?
I want to crunch those numbers.
Yeah, crunch those numbers for me. It's something like Death of Superman, What Happened, or something like that. And and Kevin Smith has talked at length about his experience, like being involved with this film and all the development hell that it went into. Development hell being whenever a project, it can be in video games or movies or whatever, when something like is technically in production or pre-production, but it's having trouble, it just stays in this weird limbo of not getting finished and not being worked on completely because of, it could be from budgeting, it could be because of, you know, a various degree of things. So this was like an ongoing thing for like 2 years. This movie was trying to get off the ground and get made. And it's just so weird. And Kevin Smith doesn't have a lot nice to say about Tim Burton as the director. Like, he didn't really like a lot of his creative decisions that he wanted to do. But, you know, as you know, Tim Burton did a Batman movie before he was working on this Superman thing. And personally, I don't like that Batman movie.
That's my favorite Batman.
It's just too Tim Burton, you know? It's like,
that's why I like
keep
it.
it Batman. No, keep it Batman. I don't want Batman. I don't want Tim Burton. I want Batman, you know? I don't know. It's just like,
Put this Tim Burton in my Batman.
yeah. The worst kind of Reese's cup. But there's just some entirely ridiculous things. There's so much ridiculousness about this film and what went into it that I can't explain it all in this block of time that we have. You have to like watch the documentary or like Google it for yourself. But Kevin Smith at one point talks about his interaction with a dude named John Peters, who was an executive producer for it, and this guy was like telling him that he had to include a giant spider fight in the movie. Superman has to fight a giant spider, and Superman isn't allowed to fly and stuff. Like, just tons of weird stipulations for him fronting the money for the movie. Just insane. Everything about this movie just feels like a fever dream, and couldn't in no way, shape, or form be real. But if you delve into it, it is unfortunately a very real thing that almost happened. But at the time, Warner Brothers was not having a very good track record for their movie releases, so they kind of decided to play it safe and just not take a risk on a movie like this, even though maybe it could have saved their skin. But, you know, we'll never know, and we'll never see Nic Cage as Superman, which I want to.
Do you?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I'd watch that movie for sure.
If you guys ever get rich, do you think you're going to be like, man, what if Batman fought like an actual bat and just buy it, like give a bunch of money to a Batman movie and tell him to do that?
Oh, well, no, because John Peters owns the rights to, at least at the time, he owned the rights to Superman. and Batman, I believe. So like he had to come to him.
It's really funny.
You know what I mean? Like, because it was his. So yeah, it's just an awful situation that they all found
Christopher
themselves.
Walken was supposed to be in it.
Yeah, as Brainiac, and Chris Rock was supposed to play Jimmy Olsen, and Sandra Bullock is Lois Lane. It just like what's
That's
going
such
on?
a weird cast.
Yeah, just insane. Like an insane. It sounds like some weird fantasy football team draft. Like,
Is it weirder than the Han Solo movie?
let's not talk about the
don't have
Han
time.
Solo movie.
That'll be a different podcast.
Oh man, whenever that drops, that's coming out soon, isn't it?
Too soon.
Yes,
So the name of the documentary is "The Death of Superman Lives: What Happened," and it came
Yeah.
out 3 years ago.
yes, it did. Yes,
Surprising.
and
All right.
yeah. So anyway, like I said, highly recommend looking it up. Very interesting, and terrifying to think that it could have happened. It could have happened to you. But so now, next up.
Now we got some Tim Burton trivia. So buckle up, kids.
Wait, why Tim Burton? That's really weird.
Yeah, you're right.
Little off topic,
Yeah,
Pat.
that was kind of random, but okay, go on.
So I'm gonna give you a premise of a movie, and you're gonna tell me as many Tim Burton movies that fulfill that premise as possible.
Oh, okay.
That sound good?
It's kind of weird, but
Is that just the first question, or is that always how it is?
I got 3 of these, then we're gonna do something else.
Okay.
Well, it's not going to go
So
off
just
of it.
shout out the answer. So what movie is about Johnny Depp being adept with scissors?
Edward
Scissorhands.
Scissorhands?
And
Sweeney Todd.
yeah,
That's not scissors.
Is it?
shears.
No, he uses
Whatever.
scissors.
Yeah, I mean,
Does he?
Yes, he
it's
does.
It's a.
He uses scissors during
Isn't
the
he cut to the hair
the contest.
Oh yeah. I
I'm still
guess.
wrong. They're technically shears, but whatever.
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 Oh, you're talking about Edward Scissorhands.
Whatever.
Dude, I don't.
What, Edward?
Moving on.
What movie is about a child going on an adventure and encountering talking animals?
James and the Giant Peach.
All right, that's one.
And adventure and
Come on.
what? Why can't I?
Really?
Is that Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah, it's
Oh, dude!
What?
Oh no!
She's not a child in that movie.
Okay.
She's getting
she's supposed to.
proposed to in the beginning.
That is what threw
That's
me
fair.
off. I will.
that
Yeah.
is fair.
Let's-
I was thinking of the Lewis Carroll novel, but
Ooh,
I'm
you're
crunching numbers.
Lewis Carroll, by the way.
yeah,
Super cool.
yeah. Did you know Alice in Wonderland isn't the first book in that series?
Yes.
Yeah. No, he's always crunching numbers. What movie involves humans dealing with a hostile alien species? There are 2 of these.
Alice is a fictional child.
All right.
No, that's in the
That's what
book.
the wiki says.
In the movie,
So-
she's an adult, and it's supposed to be like she's going back. Yes.
Are you talking about Mars Attacks?
There it is.
Oh my god! I
That's a
didn't
Tim Burton
realize
movie?
he
That's Tim
directed
Burton.
that.
There's also another one which is equally as weird to me. Although this one's a little bit of a stretch, honestly.
What was the question?
So humans dealing with a
Humans?
hostile alien species. Well, alien to them.
I feel like this one's
This one's kind of hard. This is the hardest
this
one.
one's kind of weird. Humans dealing.
I'll give you. There's also another series of the same name going on by a different director currently.
Ooh, that might have confused me more.
Okay.
Dude.
I have no idea.
This is gonna
It
probably
had
make
Mark
me mad.
Wahlberg in it, which probably doesn't help you at all either. 'cause I didn't
Transformers?
know this movie existed. No, it's a classic.
It's a classic.
Classic.
What is it?
Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow!
I forgot he directed that.
Oh
And
no!
yeah.
He directed the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Jeez, that's why that one's so weird. Oh my god!
That's the next part. We're just gonna go around and give me a what?
That movie ends. This is why
know they're
Tim
on
Burton's
Earth.
insane. What?
Hmm?
That Planet of the Apes movie ends with Mark Wahlberg getting like arrested by a bunch of ape cops at the Lincoln Memorial. I'm pretty sure. Like that's how insane.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah, that's how just ridiculous everything he does is.
That sounds really funny.
Yeah, no, it is.
All right, for the last part, we're just gonna go around and you just give me a Johnny Depp Tim Burton movie.
That should be easy.
Yeah. I mean, you have to just keep going.
Oh,
And you get a point for each one.
okay.
Ooh.
So we're gonna start with Zach.
We've named a lot so
Yeah,
far,
I mean,
so
you
it should
can-
be
yeah, you can
easy.
repeat those.
You can repeat. Can we
There's
repeat?
8 total. So
Can we repeat from each other?
No.
No.
That's,
Well, what?
And you can. No, I mean the ones that we talked about earlier. I'm not,
Okay, let's go. Alice in Wonderland.
All right, that's one.
Oh, so we're going to. Okay, Ed Wood.
All right,
Edward Scissorhands.
all right. He's out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Really?
Yeah.
You really?
Just go. Come on.
Sweeney Todd.
All right.
Oh.
Corpse Fried.
Yep.
Is he in that? That's been a long
Yes.
time.
Yes,
He's
he does
the
the
main
voice.
guy.
Very long
He's the
time.
main
The
guy.
voice. Are you good? You're out?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm done.
Oh.
Well, yeah.
Edward Scissorhands.
I said that already.
When
you
did you
lose.
say that?
You
I said that after you said Ed Wood.
Why do I have to remember what everyone else says too? This is too
That's
hard
how
of a
the
game.
game
This
works.
game is too complex.
It was one round ago.
Okay, well,
Lizzy, you need 3 more to beat Chandler in points for this game that I didn't tell you I was
What?
keeping.
How? We said the same amount of things.
In
No,
total,
I mean,
like throughout
yeah,
the
in the
whole
previous
trivia
game.
thing.
Oh.
There aren't more than 3 movies left, I think.
can you name the
Alice
last
in Wonderland 2. Does that
Three? Are you gonna count that?
I'll count
No,
it.
come on.
Stop. I'm turning off your mic.
Oh.
Oh, it's just me now.
We talked about one of the other ones already.
I'm gonna hate myself after this because I
You
can't
are.
think of them. I don't know.
All right, you give up?
Yeah.
All right, the ones you missed were... Someone said Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? I feel like
Oh,
Oh,
duh.
That's definitely one of them.
Duh.
Sleepy Hollow and Dark Shadows.
So I hate
Everyone
that
wants
movie.
to forget about Dark Shadows.
I did not even finish it. Like I was like, that's enough of this movie.
Yeah, that movie's bad.
All right, so Chandler wins nothing. So
Thanks so
everything.
much. I ring a bell. I win a bell.
You
That's.
no?
I have a splitting headache. So.
Do you?
So yeah. I mean, thank you all for listening. Lizzy, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
Yeah,
for coming
well,
on.
You're welcome. Is there anything you'd like to shout out or plug or anything like that?
Follow Now That's Gold on Facebook and Now That's Gold on Instagram.
Chandler, what about you? Sly Elliott on everything?
Sly Elliott on everything. And make sure you check out the podcast and all our various stuff. We got a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of stuff in the pipeline, got skits to edit. And
New one came out recently, right?
Well, a new vlog came
Yeah,
out.
Storm got promoted.
Yeah, Storm got promoted. Go watch
Promptly
that.
fired.
And ooh.
That's not true.
Find out in the vlog.
Find out in the vlog. Go watch it. Yeah, so, if you don't want to set aside an hour to listen to us talk, you can just go watch the little videos, a little more small,
little
bite
things.
size. Well, pop them in your mouth, and they're delicious. And so, yeah. What about you, Zach?
You always take away the only thing I have to mention, which is
You're welcome.
make sure you check out the Poorly Edited Podcast YouTube page where you can watch all of our previous shows with all of our amazing guests.
What about you could shout out Sam's?
Yeah, she got that Instagram page rolling, Space Salvage. It's pretty cool. It's popping off fast. But yeah.
It's good. That's awesome.
Check out Mungo on Bandcamp.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
His music.
For sure.
He's
And
also-
Spotify he's on as
And
well now.
Spotify.
It's official.
He's made
dude.
it big.
That's where we're going to be. We're going to be up there with him on his new EP featuring the Poorly Edited Podcast.
What's the name of our song again?
It's called Quantized Girl. For all the music majors who
All right.
don't think that's funny anyway.
Any last words?
Any last words, kid?
Sorry.
I'm so
All right, sounds
sorry.
good.
So sorry. Everyone have a great night. Thanks for listening. And
We'll be back next week.
drive safe. Unfortunately, we will be back in your ears next week.
Goodbye. It's about Tim Burton.
I like this setup. You fucking douche. Zach's like,
recording
is
audio.
this good for you? Can you talk? Can you get to this mic?
It's fine for me, dude.
I hate you.
I'm a selfish lover.